Victor over here learned a little bit the musagim, the concepts of Memaleh Kol Almin and Sovev Kol Almin. Victor, remember something like that? Zocher? Ma ze Memaleh? What? No, before that we learned, a couple days before that, we learned what's Memaleh Kol Almin. Memaleh Kol Almin is Memaleh Kos, right? God gives energy in the world like filling up something that we can understand. Someone has sechel, he fills up his sechel with energy. He fills it with intellect, the potential of someone having intellect. The difference between a brain of a cow and a brain of a human is different, right? And that's exactly the Memaleh Kol Almin. We don't have the same energy that God gives in the brain of the human to the brain of a cow. At least we hope so. Now, what's the next level we said? Sovev. So what's Sovev? Sovev is something circling around you. It's not, you don't connect to it. You don't understand it. Who connects it? Who understands it? Kadosh Baruch Hu. So there's two ways of understanding the way of God's mercy. We spoke yesterday about God's mercy. Now we're getting into the level of understanding how is it touching a spiritual level and how to be connected in a physical way with our brain. Regarding the Kadosh Baruch Hu, we said there's two types of rachamim, two types of mercy. One type of mercy is because you were there. Because at one time I was in a hard time in life and I was trying to collect. I was scraping from the floor anything I could get to support my family. I see someone in that state. I feel bad for him. I know what he's feeling. That's one type of mercy, and the second type of mercy is rachamim hamagia mitzad haromemut. Someone that is so high and great. Because the greater he is, the more he looks down on the others. Like we brought yesterday the pasuk that we brought yesterday the concept. It's called teva haromemut liyot nimshach el hashafel. The nature of someone which is high and great, people that respect him. What's the real thing it's supposed to trigger? And if it triggers this, that means he's a true person. If he gets magnetized to the people which are on the bottom, or no one looks at them, no one pays attention to them. The second he gets higher and higher, he connects more and more to them. You know this is a true tzaddik. Someone that connects the people that really need the help, not the people that come to him and that know better. Rather, he's the one that shows them the way, the path, even though they do the worst things ever. He finds a way he finds love and mercy in them. That's understand. Now let's see how is it talk to Kadosh Baruch Hu. That's regarding humans. Now let's talk about Kadosh Baruch Hu. Now we said Yishnam rachamim mitzad haregesh. From the there's rachamim, there's a mercy from emotion. How does this work with God? Ve'elu rachamim hanimshachim b'maleh kol almin. That's the mercy that gets pulled from the higher worlds into this world in a way that we can understand it, like water filling up a cup. When I fill up a cup with water until the top, I cannot fill it up more. I know it's full, right? So this filling up the cup is called Memaleh Kol Almin. When spirituality is going into this physical world and interprets itself in filling up the space. That means, let's say a place with no air, HaKadosh Baruch Hu puts air in there. You can live. Chayut. So, how can we understand this? Shehi b'bchinat elokit ba HaKadosh Baruch Hu mashpil atzmo mekarev atzmo la'olamot. When God puts himself down, even though the God is the greatest, nothing greater than HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he puts himself down in this physical world. To his beings, to his people. It doesn't have to be Jewish, not Jewish, to every single of his beings. בדרגה זו ניתן כי הקדוש ברוך הוא מרגיש את המתרחש אצל הנבראים, וכאשר קיימו את מצוותו בבעיה ובמצוקה, הקדוש ברוך הוא פועל מכך התעוררות עליהם ברגש הרחמים. That it's amazing that God, doesn't matter the greatness he is, that he's connected so much to his nivraim. Like we mentioned yesterday, regarding the Bnei Israel doing Shirat Hayam, and the Kadosh Baruch Hu tells them, how are you guys singing when my creations are drowning in the sea? I understand they did bad, but they are my creations, I have a soft spot for them. On Monday we're going to talk about, we're going to start learning Gemara over here. We're going to, the Masechet Megillah, we're going to see another way how the Kadosh Baruch Hu has the same exact question on the Jewish people. How could you celebrate when my creations are getting killed? In Daf Bet Amud Aleph in Megillah. Now, regarding this, that's one type. That's Memaleh Kol Almin, the first level of mercy. Let's go to a deeper level. What does that mean? When I have a cup filled up with water until the top. Now, if I pour more water, it's going to get spill out, right? But there is a way to fill it up more. How? If I put a much refined type of energy inside. What does that mean? Something much in our minds we don't understand it, because if we look at it from outside, if a cup's filled at the top, even that layer of water on top, you can no way to put it inside. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to put this whole entire jug inside. For me, it's this sovev mikol almin. I don't understand what's going on over here. It doesn't make sense to me, the situation. I don't relate to it. I can't believe it. I don't. If a cup's filled at the top and you're giving me a jug and telling me you're going to put this whole jug inside there, doesn't make sense. So now, what's the other type of mercy that God has? It's called in the level of that comes from sovev, much higher level. To understand what's going on, that He's the highest level of all. And you in that type of level, you're so great, you don't understand. You're going to eat a lemon, you're not going to taste sweet, spicy, or anything, or sour. You don't taste anything. It's like you're so stripped from this physical world, it doesn't interest you. You look at this world, you see atoms moving. That's the level of Sovev Kol Almin. You see the world has a lot of particles. You see it at atoms and different type of running fast. I don't see a table, that's what I see. I see these little things running through, and through that, the world, that's the highest level of Sovev Kol Almin. And over there, how does the God connect to us? We're saying God is sitting on a throne. How He can connect to us? I understand in the lower levels that God made Tzimtzum. At every single time he narrows down the energy and the power so He could find somewhere to see us. But how could God relate to us when He's in the highest levels? And over here He tells us that, gives us the answer. Baruch Hashem. He says like this: Ela mitzat teva הרוממות לרחם על השפל. וככה הקדוש ברוך הוא מרחם על נבראים מצד הרוממות ומביאה אותו להתייחס לשפלים ולרחם עליהם. He says that's exactly it. When God sees, He's in the throne, in the highest place ever. And God sees His nivraim, He sees us over here. How does He look at us? As the meromam el hashafel. Before we said, He looked at us because b'mitzukatam. When we are in a mitzukah, it's hard for us. God relates and connects because He's in that lower levels. He could relate, He could understand what's the problem of money. But at the highest levels, when money over there has no say, I can't relate this to you. Someone comes, it's like the famous story, like someone comes in his city, in his world, in his planet, the most precious thing by them is meat. But over here, you tell someone, can I buy your car? I'm going to give you 6 pounds of meat. They're going to look at you like, buy. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't work like that. Why? Because that's the levels which are not connected to one another. But then comes the Chidush over here in Sefer Ma'amarim. It tells you like this: that when does God connect to you from a spiritual to physical level? Because the God's so great, and because the Chidush Baruch Hu is so great, He doesn't feel all these nitty gritty things. He knows you. He looks at you. He knows you need my help. That's where He comes over there. And now we can see this in another level that we could talk about. It's like touch upon it. It's called Rachamim HaPshutim, but it's not Pashut. The simple Rachamim is not so simple. What does that mean? That we know Emunah Pshuta is the best Emunah possible. Emunah Pshuta, having simple belief in God, nothing greater than that. There's a story that happened to one of my grandfather's students. He's still alive today. Lives in Yerushalayim. His child choked. His daughter, at the age of 3, choked, and she was turning colors, blue, purple. He goes outside, holds her like this. Simple Jew, holds her outside and tells her, Akadosh Baruch Hu, you gave me this daughter, you gave her life. You could take it away. And he just speaks like he spoke to his friend. And in truth, in those moments, she swallowed it, and she came back to life. Everything was fine. He didn't do anything, didn't tap, nothing. Held her like this. Emunah Pshuta, I'm going to speak with God, He's going to answer me. I'm going to do this. Why? Because the rabbi said, the Kadosh Baruch Hu said that, to do this. Emunah Pshuta. And so I see we're not going to have so much time right now to talk about it. But the Emunah Pshuta is the Emunah Pshuta, the Rachamim Pshutim is not so pashut. The simple Rachamim, the simple mercy, the simple Emunah, simple belief is not so simple. It's the deepest things possible. Even the greatest tzaddikim can't get to there. Why? Because they're already sophisticated. The second you're sophisticated, you lose the touch. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen v'amen. My grandfather in Israel, long time ago.